Hello, I'm Kendra, and today I'm going to do a book basket review for you. So kind of give you an idea what our family of 5 has been reading this week. We have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old. So first, I'm going to kind of go over the things we've been reading as a family. I haven't been doing the book basket kind of plan that I've set up right now because we're not doing normal school. We're doing like summer reading program and swim and just all of the summery activities that happen in a homeschooling family when all of the public school kids are out for the summer and they try and cram all of the fun into like 8 weeks. So we're in the middle of that. It's almost over. Thankfully, it's almost over. So yeah, first I'm going to go over the things we've been reading together. In the evenings, I tend to read to the kids while they play, like with Play-Doh or color or whatever they're doing for the night. And we have been reading this book. It's called Cosmic by Frank Cottrell Boyce. It's an interesting story. It's about a kid who is 12 but looks like an adult and is frequently like mistaken for one, and somehow he ends up in space. So right now we're at the point where he is not yet fully explained how he ends up there, which is just frustrating the daylights out of my 4-year-old because he keeps asking me and I keep going, I don't know, I've heard all the story that you have. But the kids are enjoying it and they do ask for me to read it. I would like to be getting through a little bit more of it, but our schedules hasn't allowed for that. So I'm hopeful that maybe in the next week or two we'll finish Cosmic. And then we have been doing a Brave Writer study using the Arrow. Yes, the Arrow copywork and language arts stuff because we don't completely quit schooling for the summer with my 7-year-old. And then because of that, we've all been reading a book together. And we've had to go at a much slower pace than we usually read because I've been trying to make this book called A Long Way from Chicago by Richard Peck. We've been trying to make it last the 4 weeks that I need it to for the study. So that means we only read like 2 chapters a week, which is crazy slow for us to read a book. But we've really been enjoying it. That book, I actually originally checked it out on recommendation from the head librarian, and then I decided I was going to do the Arrow study, and I just happened that I had the book already. So we have been really enjoying it. I know the kids have been liking it, but my husband and I, there's so much that happens in this book that has just made us laugh out loud. I will definitely be recommending it to like my parents and siblings as just like an adult book because I imagine the kids find it funny. I think from an adult perspective, there is some interesting stuff that goes on in the book that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on in the same way as a child. But it's a story about a brother and a sister from Chicago who go and visit their grandma every summer, and the hijinks that ensue. Their grandma is quite the lady. So this book I have actually had nothing to do with. This is Star Wars Moving Target, a Princess Leia adventure. My husband reads to our sons before they go to their rest time every day, and this is the book they've been reading. It's purchased for them for my son's birthday by my husband's mom. So I don't know anything about it. Star Wars is not my thing, but it is very much my husband's thing and very much becoming my children's thing. So they have been enjoying that so much so that my 4-year-old asked to use his personal money to buy more of the books in the series because they read the Luke book, I think, and now they're reading the Leia one, and there's a Han book or something. So there will be more of those in our future. Then my daughter has been reading to me before she takes her afternoon break, and so she read me this Magic Treehouse book, Soccer on Sunday. I discovered she read me another one about Florence Nightingale, and then she's read me this one, and I don't like Magic Treehouse books. She enjoys them. That is lovely. There's nothing wrong with them. Yeah, there are much better ways I would rather spend my time. So we finished that book, and now she is reading me this book, which is delightful, and I'm enjoying her reading to me. It's called Nuts to You by, the author's name is covered up by the library label, let's see, by Lynn Ray Perkins. And the back cover describes it as, in which 4 squirrels find out what they're made of. Friendship, courage, big ideas, also nuts. And I mean that in a good way. So it has been very funny, and one of the squirrels' names is a tongue-clicking noise, like. So my daughter is reading this aloud to me, and she keeps getting to click her tongue, and it's just makes me want to laugh every time that character talks. Then we read Yertle the Turtle and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. Now, I am not a Dr. Seuss fan, I know. Everybody seems to love him for the most part. I'm just not my thing. I don't like the made-up words. I don't enjoy most of the stories or lack thereof. But I think I've decided Yertle the Turtle and Other Stories is my new favorite Dr. Seuss book. In part, almost every word in this book is a real word, which I enjoy. The rhyme scheme makes sense to me all the way through. The pictures are funny, as usual. And just the stories are very interesting, and the social justice part of my heart is just very happy reading Yertle the Turtle. Another book that we read this week was Dog Loves Drawing by Louise Yates. My son, their dog, as in dog loves books, same dog. He draws in this one, and at one point a monster becomes involved, and my 4-year-old goes, "Why did he draw a monster? Everything would have just been fine if he didn't draw the monster." Which I just love when the kids come up with these things and maybe realize that some people create their own problems and that you do not want to be the problem creator. Another book we read, Harry the Dirty Dog by Jean Zion. And these books are fun. I remember the first summer that my daughter was doing reading programs at the libraries. Both places that she went read Harry the Dirty Dog. And I had actually never read this book before. But I really enjoy the pictures. Here's a picture of Harry running down the stairs with a scrub brush. The story is nice. It's fairly simple. But the art is really nice in that book. And another book where the art I really enjoyed was this book called Hey Pancakes by Tamsin Weston. And it all goes through a couple of kids that are making pancakes, basically. And here's kind of what the art looks like. But they're beautiful, like watercolory. I'm not sure that's actually what they used. Maybe pastels. Maybe a combination, actually, looking closer. But anyways, the art, I was trying to read the words and I kept getting distracted looking at the pictures. And that is always a good sign to me of a good picture book, is one where I want to look at the pictures. Another book that we've read before and I've really enjoyed and kind of forgot about, but then we saw it on the shelf again and I'm like, I think we read that. My daughter went, "Oh, I love that book." So we picked it up again at the library. It's called Just Ducks. It's part of the traveling collection, so it's not at our library all the time. By Nicola Davies. And this is a really interesting book about ducks because it has two kinds of text all the way through. This big text and then these little text. And the big text is like the story part. And then the little text gives you more information. But I've read other books like that before. And sometimes when you read them, the books don't read straight through very well. But with this one, you can read it through without reading the little bits and pieces about the ducks, like the facts. And the story still makes sense. But you can also read it inserting those on each page, and it doesn't mess up the rhythm of the story. Because it always bothers me when it's just jarring every time you read the descriptions. There is also an index at the back, which is kind of interesting about ducks. So, like, if the kids want to find more information about them. And, yeah, the art in this one is very nice as well. Simple. Now, these are watercolors. But they're simple, but very effective, and the ducks are pretty. Oop, my stack is falling. Oop, okay, we'll put this one down here. How's that? And we'll put these down here, too. Okay. And speaking of stacks, the next book is Rain Stack by Owner Tuckle? And this is about a bunch of animals, and they live somewhere where there is a drought, and somebody, the rabbit, makes a machine to make the drought go away. And it's them trying to figure out how to use the resources they have to make it rain. And they also realize their most important resource is their teamwork and togetherness. And because of the technology, they kept getting further and further away from that. But ultimately, in the end, they have to use teamwork and technology together to make it rain. So, that was kind of fun. And we've read Camp Wonderful Wild by Laurel Snyder. And the thing I found most interesting about this book is it is about a bunch of kids going to Jewish summer camp, which I mostly just found interesting because there's not, unless they're like strictly Hanukkah based, we do not readily come across a lot of books that involve Judaism, which I would like my kids to be exposed to. All faiths, no faiths, whatever. But like there's Star of David. One of the kids' shirts says, "I heart my bubby," and I don't know that it's anything that stood out to the kids when we were reading it about the camp that made it any different, but it stood out to me, and I enjoyed that. And we've read all of these several times, but another book we read was Everybody Sleeps But Not Fred by Josh Schneider, and this was just a book about basically a kid who won't sleep and all the other people that are sleeping, and then, spoiler alert, at the end, he falls asleep. And I like it at the end that they get really mad and they tell you, "Warning, close book softly or Fred will wake up and start all over again." And every parent knows that feeling of you wake him, you take him. So, those were our books for this week, and I will be back next Wednesday to tell you what we've been reading this week. Usually, more of the books are from our personal collection. This week, Cosmic and the Star Wars book were the only ones. Everything else is from the library, but that's because we've been going twice a week, if not more, because of reading programs. But after next week, that will be over. So it'll probably be another big library haul of books next week, and then we'll be back onto our personal collection. So, thanks for watching. Bye!